I sent one memo, unclassified then, still unclassified, and it's recounted in my book, to my friend Dan Richman and asked him to get the substance of it, but not the memo, out to the media. Separately, I wrote a bunch of memos about my interactions with President Trump, and I was what was called an original classification authority at the FBI, meaning I had the training and the authority to make decisions about what should be classified, what shouldn't. The bottom line is, I see no credible claim by any serious person that that violated the law.
You did leak memos. I mean, is it okay for somebody at the FBI to leak something, an internal document, even if it's not classified? Isn't that leaking?
Well, there's a whole lot wrong with your question, Anderson. First, I didn't leak memos. I asked a friend to communicate the substance of one unclassified memo.
Whether you...
Can I finish for a second?
Sure, okay.
One unclassified memo to the media, and I was really important. I was a private citizen. I was not an FBI employee at that time.
But it was an internal document. It was a document you had written while you were FBI director. That is a leak. I mean, if you tell somebody, don't give them the document, but tell them what's in the document, that's still a leak, no?
Well, not to get tangled up in it, I think of a leak as an unauthorized disclosure of classified information.
Really? That's it? That's a leak?
That's how I thought about it as FBI director. We investigated leaks, unauthorized disclosures.
So his answer in summary is, I ain't a leaker. I had the decision to say what was classified or not. I was a private citizen. And a leak is an unauthorized disclosure of confidential information. And this checked none of those boxes. Satisfied?
No. And you saw that he was squirming around answering those tough questions by your colleague Anderson Cooper. Maybe he wasn't expecting that. I believe Jim Comey expected a hero's welcome from many in the mainstream media. And between Jake Tapper and Anderson Cooper, I think many tough questions came his way. Here's the problem with what Comey said about leaking. We already know that he gave memos to his friend Daniel Richman, more on him in a second, with the intent that Richman would leak it to the media, and hoping, quote, to trigger a special counsel. All of that happened, Christopher. Everything he wanted to happen, happened, including the word leak. There's one thing that we didn't know until recently about Daniel Richman. We know he's a Columbia University professor. We know he's a, quote, friend of Jim Comey's. It's been recently revealed something that Jim Comey never bothered to tell anybody while he was under oath up in Congress, never bothered to tell the president, never bothered to write in his book, never bothered to tell anybody until it was revealed this week that Daniel Richman was also a special government employee at the FBI. This guy can come and go as he please at the FBI from the summer of 2015 until February of 2017.
Relevance?
Don't you think, as a reporter, Christopher, it's relevant, it's a very germane fact. And this guy tonight talking about concealment, he was concealing a very important fact. He called him a friend and a Columbia professor, as did everybody else in the media. You've got to start identifying this guy as to who he was. Special government employee at the FBI. 35,000 or so people work at the FBI. Jim Comey decided his friend should be there, and decided that friend, who just happened to be the FBI during the Clinton investigation, after Trump won, during the Trump transition, and into the Trump administration until February 2017. That is a very important fact. Jim Comey can moralize all he wants. He's playing body language expert tonight.
Who he gave it to leak to the media?
Oh, come on, Chris.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm asking you to explain it. Explain it.
Well, excuse me. The only thing we ever heard about this guy previously is that he was his friend.
Right.
He never said his friend and then a Columbia professor. Never bothered to tell us once that that man worked at the FBI for over a year and a half, including during the time when Hillary Clinton was being investigated.
Right. Why does that change it?
Donald Trump was not being investigated. Oh, come on. Are you telling me that you run on thin allegations all day long? This may happen, that may not have happened, collusion, allegation, and this isn't a material fact. It goes to his credibility, and it goes to how much he conceals. Also tonight, I think Anderson was right in asking Jim Comey the question.
Kellyanne, I'm not saying that you're wrong about what you're saying about Richmond. I'll have to get into it a little bit more.
Okay, then have Richmond on your program tomorrow.
I would love to. I ask for people to come on all the time.
And who else did Jim Comey give the memos to?
Is different. Well, he also said he gave it to his counsel to help in giving him good advice for his own potential defense. But I just want to say why you think it matters whom he gave it to disseminate to the media. Why does it matter whether it was his wife or someone who had some kind of loose affiliation with the FBI or someone who was a real-time agent with the FBI? How does that change the nature of Comey's decision with respect to the memos and what its importance is in the overall dialogue?
Well, in this case, we've only been told he was a friend and a Columbia professor. It's relevant because the man was at the FBI when all of these investigations and other things were going on. It is relevant because you don't know what other access to information he had. So if this man is speaking to the press with a Comey memo in his hand, then how do you know what else he knows or doesn't know? Don't you think that's a legitimate line of inquiry?
No.
Look, Jim
I'm not
Comey
sure
tonight
because, first
really
of all, I don't
struggled
even
to
know if
answer
it's
some-
true. I don't really know if it's true if he had any official capacity
That
within
he
the
worked at the FBI?
or if he had a role within the investigation. I
What
don't know.
was he
That's
doing
not
there?
my
Why didn't we
reporting.
know
I
it
have to check
before?
more into that. But even if it were all true, even if it is all true, I'm saying I'll give you the benefit of the doubt on all of it. It's all true. I don't understand how
Well, this
that
is
makes
what's
a
coming out
difference in terms of what he
Congressman
decided
Meadows
to
and
do.
Jordan. Christopher, you don't think it's relevant to your viewing audience that the same person who took the memo from Jim Comey also worked at the FBI previously or during all that time? Of course it's, and here's what else is relevant. Jim Comey said tonight, he's, this impassioned, patriotic, I want youth to stay involved. We all do. I want you to go and vote. He didn't bother to vote. He thought Hillary Clinton, who he wanted to win, didn't need his vote.
But you know why
He
people in the
claimed,
Bureau
it's
don't
because
vote.
the FBI
It helps
must-
give them the appearance of it being impartial. I mean,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
not
he was
uncommon
really
with people in law
independent,
enforcement,
right.
let alone at the DOJ and the FBI. You know that.
That's not true. That's not fair.
It's
and by the way,
100%.
we should not.
It's 100%
privacy.
true.
He has a right to vote. I'm sorry, he has the right to vote.
He
Excuse me,
absolutely has the
to
right,
vote like
and
you
he has
I
the
do.
right not
and he
to
can
vote.
express that. What he doesn't have the right to do, I would argue, is go tell the world that Hillary Clinton is not under investigation and never bothered to tell who wasn't the president. She was just a candidate, twice failed, and not tell the world that President Trump is not under investigation. Why wouldn't he go and tell the country what he had told the president at least 3 times privately, that he's not under investigation?
Because
Why
that's
can't
not
you
the
just tell
protocol of the
country,
FBI.
he's
They
the
don't do
president?
that.
Oh, okay. So speaking of protocol of the FBI, you've read Rod Rosenstein's memo from May 9th.
Rosenstein,
he very
yeah.
clearly says that Jim Comey broke with protocol
Yeah, he
at
did.
the FBI.
But now you're asking him to break with protocol again.
Nobody even mentions his memo
Isn't that making
anymore.
it even worse?
No. Christopher, let me ask you something as an American for a moment. Don't you
Please,
think
I
it's
always
relevant
answer as an American,
for you
by the way,
or
but
me
go
and
ahead.
the rest of the country to know that the sitting president of the United States is not under investigation? Why shouldn't we know that?
Because
Why
they
shouldn't
don't do
foreign
that.
leaders know that?
Because
while
they're
President
not
Trump is
supposed to
there?
do
Why shouldn't
this.
our soldiers,
And when he
our
did it about
military,
Hillary
our
Clinton,
brave
it was
men and
argued.
women know that?
All right, hold on. I'll let you finish. Here's the answer to your question that you asked me. One, he has the right to vote. He also has the right not to vote. And it is absolutely true that many people who work in law enforcement, the FBI, DOJ, even on the prosecution side, don't vote because it helps motivate their sense of impartiality. It's a personal choice. It's not a mandate, obviously. However,
I'll tell you what else
wait,
they don't do.
Hold on. I'm not
they
done with
don't
my
write
answer.
books the second after they're fired.
That's a fair criticism.
No. I tell you
It's
what
a
else they
fair
don't
criticism.
do.
It's a fair
They
criticism.
don't write books the second after they're fired, especially,
fair
and Anderson pushed
criticism.
on this, especially when they're witnesses. He's definitely a witness in the Mueller
Absolutely.
investigation, and he's certainly going to be a witness in the McCabe criminal
Certainly
referral.
could be.
His number 2 got criminal referral last week.
We don't
and
know if they'll prosecute,
I also
but he
would have asked
certainly
Jim
could
Comey
be.
a very simple question. I also would have asked Jim Comey a very simple question. With whom do you side? Do you believe the IG, the Office of the Inspector General, or do you believe Andrew McCabe?
It's not his call.
Because they are in conflict here. And it was, oh, come on. It's not his call. He had an opinion on everything tonight. You're making him
that's not
relevant
true.
by allowing him
That's
to
not true.
moralize.
Well, first of all, he's
He's a
inherently-
body language expert. He's a
in-
marriage counselor.
He's inherently relevant for reasons that you just mentioned and others.
No, he's relevant because Donald Trump fired him. Apart from him being fired, tell me what his distinctiveness is.
He spent
As opposed to anybody
quality
else you could
time
interview on it.
investigating central allegations and concerns to
Oh,
our
that, yeah.
democracy. But hold on, there's something else here that I don't
Right.
understand why you guys do it. Him coming out, Jim Comey, and talking about the Hillary Clinton investigation was, without question, damaging to the election and the prospects for Hillary Clinton. He made a call. You can argue whether it was a good call or a bad call. He thought it would have been catastrophic to the FBI to say nothing, so he said something. The FBI doesn't do that ordinarily. He broke with protocol. It created problems. He then broke with protocol a second time after saying to Congress, I'll come to you with any significant developments. He didn't even know if he had a significant development, and he broke with protocol again, and it without question negatively impacted
Right.
Hillary Clinton. So You guys say he did the wrong thing with Clinton,
no, don't
and
do
the
that.
Democrats said the same
question.
thing.
No, don't say without question.
It, without question,
Christopher,
was damaging to Hillary Clinton to
I don't
have
hear
that
a question
suggestion
in
come
there.
out a second time. I'm not asking you a question. I'm telling you how it is. That was undoubtedly the situation.
No, you're telling me how you feel. You're telling me how you feel.
That was undoubtedly how it was. You
Let
can't
this be an opinion show.
You can't say.
That is neither an apple nor a banana. That is your opinion.
Please.
And
Look,
I just
everything
want
with
to say
you guys
something
is
to you,
fruit
please,
salad.
respectfully.
Everything with you guys is fruit salad, Kellyanne.
No, stop with
apples,
stop
bananas.
You guys.
You're bringing
Excuse
a
me, show a
kumquat
little
to me half the
respect
time.
also.
Listen.
I represent the president, and let me
I
tell
know
you
you
something.
do, and that's why I respect you
Listen to
being
me,
here. But
Christopher.
just filibustering is not making this any better. Here's my point, and then you can knock it aside.
You just spoke for a minute.
Hardly.
You just spoke for a minute, so don't say the word filibuster.
The filibustering doesn't help. Here's my question.
Listen, if you think he broke with protocol,
Kellyanne,
why
I know he
why are you
broke with
giving
protocol.
him so much credibility?
I
And
know
why
he
is
broke with protocol because he's still
But
relevant.
don't say
It's
it
a critical
unquestionably
basis
hurt
of his
here, and here's
analysis.
why. Show me
Wait,
me the statewide polls.
I don't care about
where
the polls.
Hillary
I have a
Clinton was at
question.
50%. No. This is important. Excuse me. She was already not at 50% in all those states. I was on your network every single day saying that, including to Anderson
zero
Cooper.
chance.
Roll
I don't
the
care
tape.
whether she was at 50 or not. She still wound up winning the
wasn't
popular
ahead.
vote. She was never at 50%. It's irrelevant.
She wasn't ahead. She was ahead of national polls, which were irrelevant because the Electoral College is how you get elected. No. You're saying that unquestionably he hurt her.
Absolutely.
And I'm saying unquestionably, why is he out there except to insult the President of the United States with whom he had very, very little contact? How is that? Don't you think he damaged the reputation of the FBI? Because people at the FBI do.
I think it absolutely matters. I think he made
the
controversial decisions that have arguably hurt the FBI and its reputation.
Should he have written a book this quick?
Fair criticism
Should he have
and
written
debate.
a book this quickly?
That is an obvious subjective choice.
Also,
it's something that's obvious open to criticism. But hold on, you keep ducking this question. I want to ask it to you. He broke with protocol.
I'm not ducking a thing. But ask a question.
Give me a chance. Thank you very much. He broke with protocol. Okay? He made a decision to not break with protocol with response to the Trump probe, and he argues very compellingly as to why they thought they shouldn't at that time. Now you guys are saying, hey, he broke with protocol. It was a mistake what he did, and the Democrats agreed, and they wanted him gone
how
too.
do you know
But
he
now
wasn't
you're
just being
saying,
political?
but he should have done it.
That?
But you should have done it more, Jim Comey. You should have said he's not under investigation. You should have come out and broken protocol even more when it suits the political purposes of Donald Trump and the administration.
Protocol.
So you've got to be consistent. Breaking
I assume
protocol
there's a question
wrong,
lingering in there
isn't.
somewhere. Christopher, listen to me. He's the President of the United States. If he's not under investigation and he's being told that, why is the FBI director telling the president, you're not under investigation?
Because he's being
Mr.
asked
President,
whether he is.
And not telling the country.
Because it's not his job.
Why not tell the country? Why not?
It's
why
not
allow
his
the
job.
president to
We
do
don't
his
want
job
him doing that.
under the cloud without. Okay. Well,
we want him to shut up and do his job, and if they have something to act on, then they come out. That's his job.
He's written a book. We've had 10 straight days of Comey, which respectfully I would say is about 9.5 too many. We've
Of course
had 10
you
straight
think
days
that.
of Comey.
I get why you think
somebody
that.
who you know is leaking, you know has had a very casual relationship with the truth at times, you know has been asking people to leak, has been wanted to trigger a special counsel, was absolutely fine with everything Donald Trump as president. It seems loved to be in the Oval, loved to be in power, loved to have dinner with him until he got fired.
Well, no, that's
totally
not true by his own
opinion.
reckoning. Let me ask you one other thing while I have you. Dr. Ronnie Jackson is supposedly meeting right now with senior officials. Mark Short said he was going back to meet to figure out the next steps. What can we expect? Do you think Ronnie Jackson is going to hang in, or are these new allegations about the Percocet scripts and other types of behavior, is it too much for the White House? Does he have to step aside?
Ronnie Jackson was nominated by the president, who just yesterday said he understands if Dr. Jackson stays in and he supports him, and he certainly understands if he withdraws the nomination.
It's the president's call.
It's
his nominee.
Because of the process.
But it's the president's call. He knows what's out there about him now. Is that sufficient for him to want somebody else in there?
Christopher, a couple things. These are allegations. In my view, Dr. Jackson should have his say, whether it's through a statement or through a press avail or through confirmation hearings where he's swearing under oath what's true and not true. This whole matter of crucifying somebody publicly with allegations, anonymous allegations, is very dangerous. We take every allegation seriously, but we'd like these people to come forward or we would like Dr. Jackson to have his say. He
Absolutely.
has denied
You
many
have
of
to
these
have due
allegations,
process.
and I would remind you and the viewers, because the hour changed here. I know it's been covered all day on CNN, but this is somebody who's been through FBI investigations and other independent investigations. He's passed those. We know that President Obama has written glowingly about Dr. Jackson, including saying, promote this individual. He deserves it. And so that was a good idea for President Trump as well. This is somebody who's been an arm's length away from President Obama and his family, President Trump and his family. If people felt that but people should have come forward before, don't you think? Don't you want people to come forward before if the allegations
right, but they come
are real,
forward when they come forward, and people coming out at the last minute like this is not that unusual. But I just wanted to get you on the record as to whether or not.
Are you comfortable, though? Are you comfortable? Well, what do you want me on the record saying?
No, just saying whether or not the White House still backs the nominee, and it seems like your answer is yes. For now, you do.
So for today, absolutely, Sarah Sanders said that from the podium. I've spoken with the president. I've spoken with Dr. Jackson today. They're probably speaking again tonight. But what the president said yesterday was very important, but you should digest it all. What the president said was, I stand behind him if he wants to stay. I certainly understand if Dr. Jackson looks up and says, what do I need this for?
Right, I got you.
Because these processes are so brutal.
It's the president's call,
but it's important. It's
the president's
important.
call.
And if
it's his nominee. It's his choice whether he stays in or goes out.
No. It's both of their calls. No. It's both of their calls.
Only one
the
president.
Could withdraw the nomination. Excuse me. The nominee can also withdraw himself from consideration.
Yeah, of course he can. But I'm saying you don't let Ronnie Jackson
years.
decide by himself whether these allegations merit that he stays in or not. That's the president's call. That's all I'm saying. But I got to go. Kellyanne.
It's not just the allegations that are a consideration.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Finish your point, please.
Oh, it's not just the allegations. Hold on. You've got to take everything into account. The fact that he has been praised by President Obama, by President Trump, by others who work for him. There's two sides to every story, and I think it's dangerous for senators to come on your show, not under oath, and throw around terms, Candyman, and this and that. It's very dangerous.
Don't
to
say not under oath, because it
someone,
suggests that you think Tester is lying, and we don't know that. He's got 20 different sources coming forward.
No, I didn't say that. But I think Dr. Jackson. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that Dr. Jackson should be able to respond to that. That's what confirmation hearings are for.
I understand. Kellyanne Conway approved.